Hey, you guys, happy Wednesday. Happy middle of August. Oh my gosh, what an exciting month we have. We have Impact coming up in 10 days. We have the launch of our new product. We have our holiday line coming out. We're really gearing up for the fourth quarter, which is the best time in Arbonne. So exciting. And I feel like we're on the downhill slope to GTC, even though it's still so many months away. It just amazes me, though, how fast this time of year goes. So many of our kids are getting back in school. Our friends' kids are getting back in school, and everybody's gearing up to get back in routines. Tri is starting a new soccer team tomorrow night, so I'm really excited about that. A little bit bittersweet because it has been a tremendous summer and it's winding down. It's time now to stay closer to home for us and be ready to get back into the routine. But at the same time, I'm so excited about the routine. I wanted to record a quick training today on the topic of follow-up. So something's come up recently and I just wanted to tell this story and how going through this or encountering this has really opened my eyes and made a shift in my mind about why follow-up is so important. We often hear so much in Arbonne how the fortune is in the follow-up. And, I've really been focused on always being able to meet new people and get to know them, build those relationships, introduce them to Arbonne. And I have to say that I've dropped the ball in follow-up in many cases. Although the cases where I have really fostered the relationship and really built the follow-up with people, 3.5 years later, I have people still putting in tremendous orders and really redirecting their household spending to Arbonne. Maybe they started off with the skincare and now they literally are ordering everything. So at the end of the day, that's what we're doing, right? We're introducing our family, our friends, people that we meet, people at presentations that we're meeting for the first time. We introduce them to pure, safe, and beneficial products, and we're teaching them that they can redirect money they're already spending to Arbonne, and they can, be healthier and safer with what they're using. A lot of times I think we get caught up in just they buy that one 30-day fit kit or that one skincare kit, and we forget to follow up and introduce them to so many other things. So anyways, back to follow-up. So recently I put Mo Boger's training up on our team page, and it's phenomenal. I love it. It's a way that makes that 100-person list come alive by putting our list into 5 different categories. One of the things that really resonated with me when I heard the call is the fact that Mo Boger is a national vice president in Arbonne. And I've known her and been following her since she was actually a regional vice president. I watched her promote her first region, and she's always seemed like a powerhouse to me. And I've always thought, wow, she just must have it together, and she's crossing all her T's and dotting all her I's. Well, in that training, she mentions that one of her biggest piles in her 3x5 cards was her follow-up pile, and that was a weak place for her. And when she looked at her cards overall, she realized this as an area manager that she had a region sitting right in front of her. And then she did it all again when she was going nation. And again, she saw that she had a nation sitting right in front of her. And, it really made me start to think of all the clients and all the people and all the team members that no longer do the business, but they're still using the products. How many of those people are in our web stats, and we've done the work, we've laid out the foundation, and all we have to do is do the follow-up to really build that customer loyalty with people. So something that happened recently, which really got me thinking about it, is my mom, as many of you know, she got sick at the end of May, went to the hospital, and then was moved around a couple of times, and now she's in what's called a board and care facility. And when I was looking where she was going to go after the skilled nursing home that she was in, I had called a woman that helps set these things up. So she set me up with this place in Newcastle. She knew that I was in Arbonne because she heard my voicemail. And so when we went down to the board and care facility, I meet this beautiful woman that owns it with her mother. And of course, the very first instinct is like, oh my gosh, she looks like an Arbonne girl. But that wasn't at the forefront of my mind. Moving my mom was at the forefront. So anyways, the gal that was introducing us mentioned that I did Arbonne. Obviously, I had my Mercedes out front. And the owner was like, oh my gosh, I love Arbonne. I've been using it forever. I've lost all this weight. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Isn't it the best? It's wonderful. And she's like, yeah, my neighbor's always telling me that I need to do the business. But, I'm just so busy that I just don't know if I could put myself into it. She's like, but I talk to people about Arbonne all the time. So when she said all that, because I was distracted with other things, I just assumed that she had a consultant ID. I just assumed that she's working with her neighbor. She's got a consultant ID. So I just let it go. Well, over the course of the last 6 weeks, I've gotten to know her. And I have had my mom's orders now mailed directly to the home. And so 2 weeks ago, she told me that, oh, her order came in. She's like, oh my gosh, I need to get more protein powder myself. And when I went by to visit, she said, isn't there some new athletic line? And I said, oh yeah, Phytosport. That came out in April. Didn't your consultant tell you about it? And she's like, oh no, I don't really work with anyone. She's like, my neighbor introduced me to Arbonne and I ordered through her originally, but every time she asks me to order, the order doesn't come in for 3 weeks and she's very inconsistent. I was like, interesting. And she's like, I actually order my products through Amazon. Oh my gosh, you guys, my jaw hit the floor. I couldn't believe it. And she said she's actually referred another neighbor to Amazon to order Arbonne. So I said, well, there's a much better way to get the product, and even at a bit bigger discount, especially if you're using it all the time. And then she started to ask me, like, don't you have skincare too? Isn't there a skincare line? And she actually had a pimple on her forehead that she was like hiding from me that day. And I said, oh girl, yeah, our skincare is amazing. She never introduced you to the skincare? She's like, no, like I said, she's just been very inconsistent. And, I just don't know that much. And I was like, okay, well, I would recommend that you sign up for the wholesale discount since you're already into you're using the fitness and using it all the time and you're interested in other lines. I said, you should go back to your neighbor and tell her that you want to do that. She said, to be honest with you, she's like, I really don't want to work with my neighbor. She's like, I would actually love to sign up with you and use the products. So, I said, well, let me give you some samples and let's just talk a little bit more about it. So I wasn't in a big rush, but so I left that day. And as I was driving away, I was flabbergasted. I was absolutely flabbergasted. And then I started to think of all the people in my web stats that I have not been diligent about following up with, that probably love the products, that maybe ordering from Amazon or may have signed up with someone else, or who knows. If you know my story, I signed up in Arbonne in 2008 with a patient of mine when I was a dental hygienist, and she never followed up with me, and I never ordered again because I didn't know how to go online and order my product. And so, fast forward 4 years, I ended up signing up with one person I knew up here, and now I'm a regional vice president. Then 2 years later, I'm a regional vice president. So, I really want to, one, encourage myself. I'm saying this almost more to myself than I am to any of you. If this message resonates with you and, makes you think a little bit more about your follow-up and how you're doing, then that's great. And I hope it does. But I'm really saying this more to myself and to hold myself accountable to being better with my own follow-up. So as I was thinking about it, I think part of the problem with follow-up is that we need to have better communication with our clients when they sign up. So that way, when we do our follow-up, we don't feel awkward. If we tell them right up front that what we do as consultants is we're going to call and check to make sure they receive their order okay. And then after a couple of weeks, we're going to call and check again to make sure everything's going okay and see if they have any questions. So if anything comes up, write things down or put a note in their phone. And then every month or two, we're going to follow up just to see if they need to replenish their supplies, if they want to try a new line, and let them know if they have any rewards accumulated. So what I did is I went ahead and I asked Ellen, our virtual administrator, to develop a form. It's a little postcard, so you can print it on, I'm going to print mine on cardstock, and then I'm going to cut it in quarters, and I'm going to have it at my presentations. So when I do my close, after someone signs up as a preferred client, I'm going to go over it with them. And it's really cute. I'm going to post it at the bottom of this training in the comments so you can see it. And then it's posted two different places in our website. One is going to be under presentations and closing documents, and the other is just going to be basically under follow-up. But it's just going to be a little postcard. I'm going to hand it to them. I'm going to thank them so much for, considering their family's health and switching to Arbonne. Then I'm going to go through each, step that I'm going to follow up in a few days to make sure your order came okay and that there weren't any problems. I'm going to also call back in about a week or two just to see if any questions have come up and how their results are. And then I'm going to follow up every month or two to see if they need to replenish their product line. If they'd like to try something new, I can send them samples. I'll tell them, what deals are going on and if they've earned any rewards. And then I'm also going to tell them on the other side that I would love to hear their feedback, either through Facebook, text message, a phone call. Let me know what amazing results they're having. It really makes me feel great to know that the products that they're using are serving them well. And I'm going to either staple, I haven't decided yet, I'm either going to staple my business card to it or I'm going to slap a sticker on it. But basically, I had the form created as a communication tool. Just one more thing, almost little contract, like I said, where we're just telling someone upfront, how we work as consultants, what they can expect from us. And then I feel like by telling people this upfront, what to expect, then we're going to have to hold ourselves accountable. If we aren't directly in front of someone when we sign them up, like I do a lot of my signups on Facebook, I do a lot of mailing out of town, and I sign people up over the phone. So if I'm doing that, then I'm going to pop it in their thank you note and ask them to go over it just so they know what to expect. And so I just wanted to encourage you all. As you know, the fortune is in the follow-up, and we all work so hard to get out there and get in front of people. I want to encourage you really to work on building that relationship and building that customer loyalty. You guys, I went to a great conference last week and with Michelle Hall. It's tremendous at Bayside, called Global Leadership Summit. And we got to hear a training by the president and CEO of the Ritz-Carlton. And his big philosophy for business is that your product isn't the product that you're selling. Your product is your service. And ultimately what we're trying to create are loyal customers. And the way we create loyal customers is by individualizing their service. So, when you first meet someone at a show, you don't know them that well, you're trying to figure out what results they're looking for, you help them get what they need at that within their budget, and you make all that work, the order work. But when we're meeting them for the first time, we're also finding out things about them, what they value, what their families are like, a little bit about their personality, and we're remembering those things. So we want to foster that relationship. So when we go in for the follow-up, we're asking, how's your daughter? You said she was starting school, or you guys said you were going on a trip. How was your trip? Recently I was out in front of someone that just went to Hawaii, so call, follow up. It's been about 2.5 weeks, and, how are your products working for you? Have you been able to start them? How was your trip? Just building that rapport. And, how special does it make someone feel when you remember something about them? And you can start to individualize their order to their personality and what their needs are. And when you do that, you create a customer loyalty. And when your customers are loyal and they feel good and they feel like they matter, they're going to go out and they're going to tell people. Not everyone. Some people are really shy about, sharing things that they love, but other people are very outgoing. And when they've dealt with you and you've just really put them at the forefront and you've treated them with the utmost respect and delivered an amazing service to them, you guys, they're going to talk about it. They're going to feel so good. I mean, our little world that we live in, or a big world, however you want to look at it, people are so disconnected, and the beauty and the thing that I love about Arbonne, and one of the first things that kind of resonated with me when I started my business, is that we can kind of get back to the old mom and pop shop way of running business. We're such a big box society now. Everyone's looking for convenience, but in Arbonne, we can really get back to that individualized treatment, that care and concern and love for our patients. See, that's the old dental hygienist in me, but our clients, and we can create this environment where we really help them feel good, feel like they matter, and want to refer people to us, and know that with confidence that when they do refer someone to us, that we're going to take the utmost care of their friends and their family. So again, I hope this helps. Like I said, I'm kind of doing it more for me than anyone else, and just hoping that you guys are going to benefit from it as well. And I will go ahead and post the postcard at the bottom. Take a look at it, and if it helps you to whip that out and hand it to someone as kind of a verbal contract of what your service that you're going to offer them as their consultant, then I'm super excited. So I just want you all to know that I love you, and I hope you have a beautiful afternoon and evening, and I'm off to spend a little more time with my babes. All right, talk to you later.